Welcome to Drum Corps Central, a podcast. I am a 13-year-old drum corps superfan who loves all forms of the marching arts. Thanks for watching the podcast today. There will be an almost daily episode of this podcast recapping the previous night's drum corps scores and looking ahead. Today is Saturday, July 7th, 2018, and last night we had 3 Drum Corps International sanctioned shows. Tonight, 3 of DCI's shows, but also 2 DCA shows. I'm going to get to scores from last night, look at the leaderboards for both DCI World Class and DCI Open Class, and then take a look at tonight's 5 shows across both DCI and DCA. First up from last night was Vancouver, Washington, and Drums of Fire. 2 open class corps here, the Colombians and the Battalion, very close to start the season off. Only a mere 3.5 tenths separate the two. This is something we've been seeing over the past few seasons, that these 2 corps have competed in DCI. I'll show you where they are on the overall DCI Open Class leaderboard in just a little bit, but that's the margin that those 2 are between each other, and they'll be together for most of these few shows over the next few days. Then over in World Class, Santa Clara Vanguard in first place, Blue Knights in second, Academy third. No surprises there. That Troopers gap to those other 3 is kind of significant. I didn't think it'd be 3 points. I thought it would be more like a 1 or 2 pointer. Makes sense though when you think of where they are with Pacific Crest from last week. Oregon Crusaders, they make their season debut. They go 5th. Good opening show for them. 6th. Pacific Crest just a 10th behind the Oregon Crusaders. And the Seattle Cascades, they make their season debut down in 7th. Not a bad score at all for them. Now let's take a look at the scoring recap for Drums of Fire last night. First, in open class, I'm not going to break down a lot because I have a lot to get to today. But if you just want to see where the Colombians' win came from, look at general effect and look down at music analysis. Those are 2 places that they were very strong in. Visual is definitely not where they got that win from, because they got all 2s there. And then down in music, 2s in brass and percussion. A full panel here as well. That's something that we'll watch over the next few days. Then in World Class, Santa Clara Vanguard, they get all 1s. Just to note real quick, this is just general effect, and visual music is on the next slide. But let's look down at Oregon Crusaders and Pacific Crest. That's one area I want to watch. And also the places where the Seattle Cascades are actually pretty close to those other 2. You see the Oregon Crusaders 7 in visual proficiency. Cascades get 6 there. They have a 6 in general effect 1. Some good places for the Seattle Cascades. As I said, not a bad result at all for them. And you can see really the Troopers are kind of down there too. Between Troopers, Oregon Crusaders, Pacific Crest, Seattle Cascades is kind of just crazy on this recap from last night. Then here's the music recap. I don't have the corps names on the side, but they go as they placed last night. So 5th, Oregon Crusaders. 6th, Seattle or 6th is Pacific Crest, and 7th is the Seattle Cascades. You can see it here. Pretty good balanced recap for all the corps here. Then the second show last night was in Rockford, Illinois, and Show of Shows. It was Phantom Regiment's home show. They get 2nd over in World Class. You see up here in Open Class, the Legends make their season debut in 1st over Shadow, but with a 53.8. I'll show you the leaderboard in a minute. That is 6th out of the corps going to World Championship prelims. And out of those open class scores, of course, but I'm not digging the 53.88 if I'm the Legends. I think that score should be much higher. I don't want to criticize them, but I think 53.8 is pretty low score compared to where they have been over the past few years. To put the score in perspective, they're 9 points behind Vanguard Cadets with their score last night. So I'm sure they will grow. I'm sure they probably didn't have some things on the field. I'm sure it might have been not so clean, the visual and their music, but I'm sure that it will grow, and I'm sure the Legends will become a championship contender when all is said and done in August. Over in World Class, you see the Colts, they maintain their gap over Madison, and the Crossmen, they are not able to catch Phantom Regiment like the Blue Stars did the night before. Now let's take a look at the scoring recap for Show of Shows last evening. First, over in open class, all ones for the Legends, except for a 2 in music percussion achievement. Something we'd be talking about in other seasons. Is the Legends placing second to Shadow, who has never made open class finals. It's looking okay for them to potentially make open class finals this year. We'll get to see all these two courses along with Colt Cadets and River City Rhythm tonight in Minneapolis, so we'll see where they all compare to each other. I think that might give us a more accurate read, because with just two cores here, I think it doesn't give us the accurate read we need. But of course, the full panel contributes to helping getting an accurate read. Then in World Class, you see the general effect and visual captions here. Just take a look down at the Colts and Madison Scouts. The Colts are really pulling away. All fours except for a 3, which is never a bad thing. And then over in music, brass, they struggle, and we saw that on Thursday night as well. But all positive. Actually, Madison does defeat them in analysis, but they still get 4th because the Crossmen drop down to 5th. Really all over the board with recaps of all these early season shows. It's just fun to look at and see the different, because this probably won't be how it is in San Antonio, probably won't be how it is in Atlanta or Indianapolis for that matter, but it's intriguing to see where the cores are now, I think, compared to where they will be at the end of the season. And the third and final DCI show last night was in Elk Grove, California, the DCI Capital Classic Core Show. Open Class 4 cores here, majority open class. Vanguard Cadets, they debuted their new uniforms last night in competition. 8/10 over Blue Devils B. That comes from 2 or more points behind Blue Devils B before, so strong for Vanguard Cadets. That uniforms, which contribute to the visual component, that definitely helps them. Blue Devils B, I guess they didn't debut any new uniforms, so they probably debuted like a new closer or something. But I'm sure these two will go head-to-head all season long, as they do every year. Blue Devils C and Incognito, that's always an intriguing battle to see. Those two, they're always pretty close. Blue Devils C gets the upper hand last night by 1.1. Then down in World Class, the Mandarin Send-Off show here from California, 74.1 for them last night in World Class. Now let's take a look at the scoring recap for the DCI Capital Classic Core Show, which took place last evening. A partial panel here. No color guard judge, no visual proficiency judge, and no music percussion judge. But everything else was judged. So I just want to break down Vanguard Cadets and Blue Devils B. Journal effect, that goes to Vanguard Cadets, except for that 1-2 right there in General Effect 2. That goes to Vanguard Cadets. Over in visual, only thing judged visual analysis, that goes to Blue Devils B. Over in music, Vanguard Cadets, they win music with a win in brass, but music analysis, that goes to Blue Devils B. Then down world class, pretty strong numbers for the Mandarins, definitely looking like they will be in finals come this August in Indy. Now let's take a look at the DCI World Class Leaderboard as of this morning, July 7th, 2018. Here's the World Class Leaderboard as things stand right now. You see the Bluecoats still at the top. Vanguard even had a show last night. I think the Bluecoats are so strong right now that it is going to be hard to come chase them down. The Cavaliers and Blue Devils go head-to-head. The Blue Devils have not had a show since Monday night. Only 2 shows this week for them. That Mesa show on Monday and then Minneapolis tonight. I would say the Blue Devils will probably get up somewhere in the 80-81 range. Could the Cavaliers knock off the Blue Devils? As weird as it sounds, I think it's a possibility. Not that the Blue Devils have a bad show. It's a pretty good show. But I think that the way the scores are shaping out right now, either they're just giving the Cavaliers a lot of points because there's not really strong competition against them, but they're just... Think about the past few seasons. The Blue Devils have been kind of in the lead the whole season, aside from 2016, I think it was. Now, yes, they did not have a show since Monday, but they're in 6th. I think between the Cavaliers and Boston Crusaders, they're either going to finish 5th and 6th, like they were projected to by many coming into the season, or they're going to be the ones that get up there and possibly get to 3rd or 4th. I think that those 2 are going to be the ones that are going to mess up the whole thing. Down at the bubble, you see it's not so close right now. I think everybody that's in, I think, is pretty safe right now. I think that once we see head-to-head competitions between like Colts, Blue Stars, which I think we might be able to see today, I think that it'll start to close, and that gap won't be 2 points anymore. It'll be more like a Warner, very minimal 2-point gap. But there is a look at your world-class leaderboard as of this morning. Now let's take a look at the DCI Open Class leaderboard for this morning, July 7th, 2018. You see here the left leaderboard is excluding corps that will not be at championships. Right leaderboard, including all corps in Open Class, regardless if they go to championships or not. Vanguard Cadets go to the top with that win last night. I think the Spartans are going to be very... we always talk about like who's going to finish 3rd because Vanguard Cadets and Blue Devils B are always like running away with it. I think the Spartans are that core this year that could even mess up with Blue Devils B and Vanguard Cadets. I think they could get up there. But that score they laid down the other day, really good. We don't see them for 2 weeks now. But whatever. Legends with that first show go to 6th. Shadow 12th. Over here, Battalion Colombians, look at them. Take a look down at the Legends. They're 8th on this one because the Colombians and Battalion laid down those good scores last night. There's a look at your Open Class leaderboards as of this morning. Now, finally, I'm done talking about the past yesterday. Now let's talk about tonight's shows for Saturday, July 7th, 2018. First up on the DCI circuit, we have Lexington, South Carolina, and Crown Beat. The lineup is listed on your screen here. A few things just to point out. Cadets Boston Gap, we keep talking about that. Bluecoats, can they break that 82-83 mark? Where's Boston compared to Crown? Could they get up and potentially mess with them? I think it's a very realistic possibility this year. Surf, it's their first show. Can they blow past Music City, or will Music City keep ground on Surf through this opening weekend for Jersey Surf? Spirit, I think they got 70 the other night. Can they keep going up on that? I think they can. Actually, I think maybe I've got 73. Maybe. But I think they'll just keep going upwards. I think that they're a very real contender for finals this year. Just a few notes here for Crown Beat. It's at River Bluff High School in Lexington, South Carolina. The weather forecast is not looking very great, as it did not last year. The show was delayed due to storms, I think, in the area last year. Looks like it might be this year, too. Thunderstorms at the beginning of the show, 7 o'clock, and thunderstorms towards the later portion of the night around 10. But in between, looking pretty good between 8 and 9 if they had to cut an intermission or whatever. If those thunderstorms would hold off, it would be a great night. But if they don't, whatever. Let's hope that they do hold off until this show is over. The second show today, the headliner, Minneapolis, Minnesota, DCI Minnesota, presented by the United States Marine Drum and Bugle Corps. You can watch this one live on flowmerching.com. All-time central here, 4:20 Welcome National Anthem. 4:30 Chops Incorporated, 4:47 Governors. They compete in all age class. Then we get 4 open class corps: Shadow, Colt Cadets, River City Rhythm Legends. I think that between those 4, the battles there will be very good. Sound Sport, Minnesota Brass before the intermission. That's Block 1. Now, Block 2 is all world-class corps in the Marines. So, a few things to watch here. World-class Blue Devils and the Cavaliers. First time we get to see the Blue Devils join these Midwestern touring corps. Where will they place against them? They will probably place first. How close can the Cavaliers pull, though, to the Blue Devils? Blue Stars, Crossman, Phantom all here tonight. What will be the margin between all of them? Can the Blue Stars top that group? And then the Colts and Madison Scouts. Do the Colts keep running away, or can the Madison Scouts catch up? And Genesis, I want to see where their score is tonight, because after tonight we'll see all world-class scores, and I think that another thing we have to watch is who's in semifinals, because remember, now there's 24 world-class corps. We know 2 or 3 or 4 of them won't make it, so who are those open-class corps that might make it? I think Genesis, they'll be on that brink of world-class corps that might not make it. I think that if they have like a 62 or 63 tonight, they're very safe. And if they can pull with enough points to at least be where Blue Devils be and Vanguard Cadets were last night, I think that'd be a great night for Genesis. Just a few notes for DCI Minnesota, TCF Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. A sunny evening. There's a flood warning in effect in Minneapolis, but that does not affect the show at all, at least I don't think. Throughout the night, sunny, stays in the 80s throughout the night. Great night for some drum corps, and the first big regional of the 2018 Drum Corps International Summer Tour. And lastly, on the DCI side of things tonight, we have Renton, Washington, and the Seattle Summer Music Games. A few exhibition and sound sport groups to kick off the evening. And then we basically have the same lineup that was in Vancouver last night. A few changes in terms of the order of performance, but same groups that was there last evening. A few things to watch. Columbians Battalion, what's the gap between those two? I think those two just like to have the bragging rights because they don't go to championships, so they like to have the bragging rights because they're so close every season. Then down the board, Oregon Crusaders and Pacific Crest, how close can those two be? And could the Seattle Cascades go up a few points due to being so close to them? last night in some captions. I think that will benefit them greatly as the season goes on. A few notes for the Seattle Summer Music Games. It's at the Renton Memorial Stadium in Renton, Washington. Weather forecast, partly cloudy, partly sunny, mostly sunny skies as the night progresses. That's between 5 and 9 p.m. tonight. A longer show here, not as long as Minneapolis, but not short. Mid-70s to the high 60s as the night progresses. Great night for Drum Corps in Washington. And lastly, just 2 DCA shows tonight. One in Landisville, Pennsylvania, the Buccaneer Classic starts at 7 p.m. 3 exhibition groups, Encore, Skyliner alumni, and the Caballeros alumni. And a few open class DCA corps, the Bushwhackers, Fusion Corps Cadets 2, and the Reading Buccaneers, who are the hosts of this event. No, I don't really have a lot of information from this one. I couldn't get any off the DCA website. So this is one of the DCA shows tonight. The other DCA show tonight, which I really don't have any information on, is the Pittsfield, Massachusetts show, Precision and Pageantry. It says here that there are only 2 DCA corps, because that's what the DCA website says. The Hurricanes and the Sunrisers, who are the host, says that there might be some exhibition groups here, maybe some more DCA groups. I don't know. I'll have a look of the DCA leaderboards tomorrow for A and open class due to being like the, I think, 3rd week of the tour so far. So I'll have that tomorrow along with the world class and open class leaderboards. So we'll have 4 leaderboards tomorrow. Now, just a few things before I finish here today. Make sure to visit drumcorpscentral.weebly.com for all your latest updates from the Drum Corps International and Drum Corps Associate Summer Tours. Schedule, scores, leaderboards, and more can all be found at my website, drumcorpscentral.weebly.com. Make sure to follow my Twitter and Instagram pages at Drum Corps Geek, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Drum Corps Central, where all of my podcasts and more will be posted. Thank you for watching today. Sorry for such a long show, but a ton to get to. 8 shows between yesterday and today, plus leaderboards. Tomorrow, I'll have a recap of tonight's shows, look ahead to tomorrow, and looking at all 4 between DCI World Class and Open Class and DCA Open Class and A Class leaderboard. So thank you for watching today. I'll be back tomorrow with another Drum Corps Central, a podcast.